For those of you who got to enjoy a Chick-fil-a chicken biscuit this morning, I can say you are better men. All right? You would have rather had some bacon, but that you can get at the restaurant, okay? So listen, when I was invited to present today, and I heard the title of this seminar, this workshop, Better Man, that's it, that's me. I want to be a better man. When I speak to myself, I want to say, Carlos, you're a better man. I want to be a better man for my wife, for my daughters, within my job, within my church, within my community. So I'm excited that you are here. Just the fact that you're sitting down on this Saturday morning tells me you're pursuing this idea of becoming better men. And for today's message, I have some stories and some learnings that I have that I'm going to pour on to you. I consulted the wisest man that ever existed. His name is King Solomon. He was king of the Israelites about 3,000 years ago. And early in his life, God offered him to grant him one wish. One wish. If God would tell you today, I can grant you a wish, what would you wish for? So Solomon could have asked for a long life, he could have asked for wealth, for power, but instead, he asked for one thing, a discerning heart of wisdom. A discerning heart of wisdom. So God was very pleased with his answer, and he told him that he would give him a discerning heart, so that he would be the wisest man ever and the wisest man that ever existed. There would never be anyone like him. So God was so pleased with his answer that he also gave him what Solomon did not ask for. He gave him lots of wealth and lots of honor. So actually today, if we were to convert his riches to today's money, today's currency, he would be ranked the number one, the wealthiest man that has ever existed, with a net worth of $2.1 trillion. But despite all of his wealth, despite everything that he had, Solomon said in Proverbs 22:1, he said this, that a good name is more desirable than great riches, and to be esteemed is worth more than silver or gold. Can you repeat after me? A good name is more desirable than great riches. To be esteemed is more valuable than silver or gold. So today you have to make an important choice, right? Do I want a good name or do I want riches? Do I want to be esteemed or would I rather take the silver or gold? Listen, lately there's so many news stories, right, of people, celebrities that have actually chosen riches, have chosen gold and silver over a good name, as their names have been tainted with bad behaviors. And because of the consequences that they face, I wonder if they think back and say, man, I would have rather chosen a good name. So what is a good name? What's a good name? Well, first, let's talk about a name. Dale Carnegie said that your name is the sweetest sound you will ever hear. Say your name to yourself, inside of you. Whether you pronounce your name Balaki or Blake, Aaron or Aaron, it's the sweetest sound you'll ever hear. Although your parents gave you a name when you were born, you did not get much of a choice there, right? Ever since, you have been giving yourself a name. You have been working to attach meaning to your name. You see, a name on itself has no meaning. It is what you do in life that adds meaning to your life. So back in 1960s, and this is a story told by Levitt and Debner in their book Freakonomics. There was this man who had 7 kids. He lived in the city of New York City. So for his last 2 kids, he gave them very unusual names. His 6th kid, he named him Winner Lane. Okay, Winner Lane, yay. And his last son, he gave him a name of Loser Lane. We have no idea why he did it, but he must have said, why not? So he had 2 sons, Winner Lane and Loser Lane. So with these names, right, how could Winner Lane possibly fail? And how could Loser Lane possibly succeed? But they did. So here's what happened. Loser Lane, in fact, succeeded in life. He graduated from college, joined the New York Police Department, where he eventually became a sergeant. People felt uncomfortable calling him loser, so they called him Lou. Okay? On the other hand, we had Winner Lane. And Winner Lane ended up creating an extensive criminal record, going in and out of prison frequently. So you see, a name on its own does not have meaning. It is what you do in life that adds meaning to your name. Now let's talk about a good name. A good name has a good meaning, has a good reputation, has value. So in my books, in my eyes, everyone that's gathered here today has a good name. Why? Because you're investing time to become a better man, to add more value to your name. So please, I need an activity from you. Fist bumps to the person next to you and say, you are a better man today. You are a better man today. All right, I'm going to fist bump myself. Okay. So we only have one earthly life, and today we have to make an important choice, right? How are we going to build our name? How are we going to build our legacy and meaning for the rest of our life? Because a good name is more desirable than great riches, and to be esteemed is more valuable than silver or gold. How do you do this? How do you create a name for yourself that people esteem? A name that you esteem yourself, a name that you think you're happy with yourself. A name that your wife esteems, a name that your kids esteem, that is esteemed at work, that's esteemed at church, that's esteemed in your community. How do you keep a good name? So this is what I've learned. At least a good name is built by consistently serving others. A good name is created, is built by consistently serving others, putting the needs of others before you. Jesus said we have to love him first. The Ten Commandments summarize love Jesus and love your neighbor. So this is the time, a reputation we do by loving our neighbors, by serving them. And I want to tell you a story of someone who built a good name. His name was Wells Remy Crowder. So when he was a kid, he was 7 years old. It was a Sunday morning, and he saw that his dad was putting had a handkerchief in his suit, a white handkerchief. And Wells told, Daddy, I want to have one of those. So his dad told him, hey, Wells, this white handkerchief is for show. This red bandana is for blow. All right, how many of you guys have one of these red bandanas? So that day, his father gave him a red bandana. And ever since, Wells would always use his red bandana in his back pocket. So he went over to high school, he went over to college, and he always carried a red bandana with him. Right? Who does that? Who did that? I mean, it was weird. But listen, Wells wanted to be an investment banker and ended up becoming an equities trader at the World Trade Center. At what point in his career, though, when we go through this stages, he needed meaning in his life, and he wanted to switch jobs. He actually wanted to become part of the New York City Fire Department. He wanted to become a firefighter. He had history with his dad being a firefighter. I think he had done some training on firefighting. So he was looking for meaning in his life. Maybe the idea of sitting on a computer, looking at numbers, doing trades, he wasn't feeling it. But this never materialized. It was just a feeling. So on September 11th, 2001, Wells Crowder was working comfortably on the 104th floor of the South Tower in the World Trade Center. When the plane hit, that's the day that he died. The South Tower came tumbling down. He was only 24. The day this happened, their parents were lost. They were devastated. They could not believe what was happening. And they didn't hear about the son. They were waiting for a call. It never happened. Actually, his body was found 7 months later. And in this time, parents, they wanted to know what happened to our son. Actually, it took about 56 minutes since the time the plane hit to the building to come down. And the parents at least wanted to know, what happened to our son? They wanted to bring closure to their life. So the names of his parents were Jeff and Allison, and listen, they scavenged every newspaper article, every TV, report. They went through every magazine to learn what had happened to his son on those last 56 minutes. But it wasn't until May 26th when the New York Times came out with an article where it described stories of people that had survived by floor. Nobody survived above floor 78. That's where the plane hit. So they narrated stories of people that had survived from the floor 78 and down. So of course, the mother read every single story. And he was actually shocked to read two stories of two surviving women who recalled a mysterious man with a red bandana that was covering his nose and mouth that had saved him. You see, so floor 78 is where the plane had crashed. Many people were still trapped in this floor. There was fire, there was smoke, there was dust, certainly no electricity. Elevators was not working. It was hard to see. It was an inferno. People were injured, and they did not know where to go. Until someone wearing a red bandana told them, I found the way out. I found the stairs. Come with me. Help the people that you can help. Nobody knew who he was. They could barely see him. But they followed his orders and guidance. So Wells Crowder went down 17 floors guiding these people, helping them. When he arrived at the 61st floor, he had to make a choice. Should I save myself and go down, or should I go back and save more people that are still stuck on floor 78? Wells ended up going 2 more times to floor 78 to help more people. After this, he went all the way down to the main floor, where he was able to meet with a lieutenant and firefighters to discuss what he had seen on floor 78, and coming up with a plan to saving more people. He was ready to go up again when the whole building collapsed. So that day, the nameless man, the man with the red bandana, had saved 18 lives. Actually, those were the only people at floor 78 and higher that survived. Listen, nobody knew his name, but he had done the ultimate sacrifice by giving his life to save others. Does this sound familiar to you? Jesus has done that for us. So his name represents courage. His name represents selflessness. His name represents servant leadership. In 2006, Crowder, the man on the red bandana, was actually named an honorary New York City firefighter. So it happened. His story is now highlighted in the 9/11 Memorial and Museum in New York City. His heroic and servant behaviors have given him a good name in history. He has a good name. Wells Remy Crowder, the man in the red bandana. All you need to do to be esteemed, to have a good name, is to serve others. Sometimes that may require to give our lives for others. We need to put the needs of others before ours. So how could you possibly serve others? I'm glad you asked. Here are a few ideas. Could it be that you will smile more every day? Listen, in my business at Chick-fil-a, we love smiles. And a smile is a gift. And a smile, when you smile, you tell somebody, hey, we like you. We love you. I'm here for you. So how about if you decide today, I'm going to smile more to my wife, to my kids, to my coworkers? How about if you decide to be an encourager every day to everyone that comes in contact with you? How do you know that somebody needs encouragement? Well, if they're breathing, they need encouragement. Dead people don't need encouragement. So go ahead and encourage people. Could it be that you will be more generous with your time, with your talents, and your treasures? Could it be that on a Friday morning you show up to work with some Chick-fil-a chicken biscuits and say, happy day? Could it be that you will commit to servant leadership, to serving others for the rest of your life? Today, you get to choose whether you want to have a good name for the rest of your life. And actually, you need to choose what your name is going to be for the rest of your life. Some of us are getting started. Some of us are in the mid-life. Some of us are on the end of our lives. But this idea of building a good name doesn't end. What is your name going to mean? What do you want your name to mean? So inside of you, inside your mind, I want you to say your name. Carlos Mayen. And then I want to say is and a verb that you want to attach to your name, the meaning you want your name to be. I've heard, the 7 habits of effective people start with end in mind. What do you want people to say about you when you die? What meaning do you want to attach to your name? So go ahead, think of your name and what it is you want it to mean. And maybe say it twice so that you actually internalize it. You have a lifetime to build a good name. I have a lifetime to have a good name. But when we attain a good name, as Jesus said to his disciples when they came back from doing miracles and sharing the good news, remember this: do not rejoice that you have a good name, but rejoice that your names are written in heaven. Because listen, everything we do in life is to glorify God. Loving Jesus, loving our neighbors who are servanthood. A good name is more desirable than great riches, and to be esteemed is more valuable than silver or gold. I choose a good name. I think Chick-fil-a has chosen a good name. You know what my biggest fear in life is? Well, I think I've learned this, that I have to fear the Lord. I think I have a fear of Chick-fil-A. I think I have a fear of my wife, that I'm going to mess up. Right? We're going to mess up. I have this fear, and I think it's a good fear because it keeps me on my toes. The idea that I want to have a good name with God, I want to have a good name with Chick-fil-A, have a good name with my wife, my kids, at work, in my community, and in my church. So I ask you, are you choosing a good name today? And if you say yes, what is that good name going to mean? We're going to show you a short video that talks about this idea of servant leadership, about going the second mile when serving others. We use this at Chick-fil-A for training purposes. And it's the story of a Roman soldier. It comes from Matthew 5:41 that says that if someone asks you to go 1 mile, go with him a second mile. When you start serving others, just don't do what they're expecting. Go above and beyond what is expected of you. And then you're going to have a good name. So gentlemen, have a good name today and the rest of your life. Enjoy this video.